Get ready for the biggest news in the fight world. Dana White drops a bombshell revealing that sponsors have been actively targeting Joe Rogan's role with the UFC, and we break down exactly what this means for the podcaster and the promotion.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This Allen 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we dive into the drama surrounding Khamzat Chimaev as he reportedly changes his stance after telling Dana White he wanted a different weight class move, and what the implications are for his immediate future. We take on the heavy hitters as Roy Jones Jr. goes nuclear on Zuffa boxing, warning that the UFC model is turning fighters into slaves, and how Dana White responded to this explosive criticism. And finally, we look ahead to the UFC Freedom 250 event, where Dana White confirms a special belt will be awarded to the winners, and you need to know all the details about this massive show. Don't miss a second of the action. Subscribe now. UFC CEO Dana White has addressed rumors that sponsors are attempting to push for the removal of Joe Rogan from the organization, firmly defending the podcaster's position as a pivotal figure within the UFC. Despite Rogan's current focus shifting towards pay-per-view broadcasts, White maintains that he remains a crucial member of the team, recognizing Rogan as the most recognizable voice in the broadcast booth. Rogan's tenure with the promotion dates back to 1997, beginning as a backstage interviewer. White has consistently championed Rogan, citing his unique ability to explain complex fighting positions to a broader audience, a skill White highlighted in 2024. In a recent podcast appearance with David Senra, White strongly rejected any threats regarding Rogan's employment, stating emphatically, "Don't ever **C-King call me and tell me who I'm gonna fire or what I'm gonna do." White revealed that the calls seeking Rogan's dismissal originated from a segment of the promotion's sponsors. Despite the external pressure, White stressed the strength of the relationship built over the years, asserting that he would fight to retain Rogan if necessary. The report also highlighted the deep, non-competitive bond between White and Rogan, noting that the UFC president sought Rogan's assistance during a family COVID-19 scare, where Rogan's methodologies proved beneficial to their recovery. Dana White views Rogan as a true fan of the sport, a trait that sets him apart from others in the industry. Khamzat Chimaev appears to have revised his immediate plans following his recent loss to Sean Strickland at UFC 328. The contest was marked by intense verbal exchanges, and surrounding the fight, controversy simmered, including claims from Arman Tsarukyan regarding weight cutting for Chimaev's qualification, and his brother Arthur's assertion that Chimaev fought through medical issues to attend the event. Following the closely contested 5-round bout, where Strickland secured the middleweight championship, the focus immediately shifted to future matchups. UFC CEO Dana White indicated that Chimaev had expressed interest in moving to the 205-ib weight class during the post-fight conference. However, a new report from Chimaev's camp suggests that a move to 205-ib is not imminent. Despite the outcome, Chimaev's team has signaled a strong desire for an immediate rematch. ESPN confirmed this sentiment, stating, "Khamzat Chimaev's team has told me the only fight he's interested in or would accept right now is a rematch." The loss was decided by a razor-thin margin, with 2 judges scoring 48-47 for Strickland and 1 scoring 48-47 for Chimaev. While Chimaev reportedly wore the belt around Strickland sportsmanly, Strickland issued an apology for pre-match conduct, though Dana White reportedly prefers action over words. The prospect of a rematch remains uncertain, pending decisions from both camps. Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. has issued a scathing critique of Zuffa boxing and the Muhammad Ali American Boxing Revival Act, warning that the direction of boxing is heading toward a soulless model akin to the UFC. Jones Jr. expressed deep concern that fighters will become controlled assets, likening the situation to being slaves or owned sheep, where masters dictate identity and action. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, Jones Jr., challenged the rationale behind the new legislation, arguing that changing the rules for promoters undermines the protection of boxers. He contended that the perceived success of the UFC model is not reflected in the positive sentiment among former UFC fighters, suggesting that the current approach favors promoters over the athletes. Jones Jr. asserted that promoters are only spoiling certain fighters to secure their own success, predicting a negative outcome for the sport. He questioned the logic of bringing UFC-style crossover fighters into boxing, noting that these athletes often struggled to make a significant payday in the MMA world. Jones Jr. stated he could not accept the notion of replicating the UFC structure in boxing, emphasizing that boxing offers better financial returns for its athletes. Jones Jr. believes the fundamental issue is not talent or skill, but control, stating that promoters will determine who succeeds, effectively stripping fighters of their identity. He warned that this trend will erase boxing history, citing the potential loss of eras, such as the four-belt championship era exemplified by Terence Crawford, to create a UFC-like environment. In response, Dana White, representing Zuffa Boxing, defended the organization and Roy Jones Jr.'s commentary. White acknowledged that opinions are valid, but stressed that the fighters are treated professionally and respectfully. He dismissed the disruption caused by Jones Jr.'s statements as typical behavior when one challenges a business, indicating that the controversy is not unprecedented. Anticipation is building for the UFC Freedom 250 event taking place at the White House. Following recent media appearances, the four men involved in the two title fights, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje, Alex Pereira, and Cyril Gane, were invited to meet with President Donald Trump, with a special commemorative UFC belt displayed on the president's desk to mark the occasion. In a special press conference on May 8, UFC President Dana White confirmed that a special commemorative UFC belt will be awarded to the winners of the two title fights at UFC Freedom 250. White clarified that while the special titles will be presented, he was uncertain if President Trump himself would be the one to place the belts around the winners' waists. Preparations for the event are extensive. Dana White recently disclosed that the UFC is collaborating with the United States military to receive weather reports for the day. UFC Freedom 250 marks the first outdoor event produced by the company in the United States, meaning the event is subject to natural conditions. However, White assured attendees that nothing will prevent the show from proceeding, except in the event of a lightning storm. Fans interested in attending the event can catch a free watch party at the Ellipse, located across the street from the White House. Registration for the watch party is required in advance.